Hey Scorpios, and welcome to your February 2018 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky here to give you guys hopefully another amazing reading for your month ahead. And I'm so happy to be here. The energy is feeling incredible. So many changes, so many transformations coming in for Scorpio. I have a wonderful coffee here, and I hope that you guys have something as well to sort of relax with and sort of get into this energy as we sort of understand what is coming in, because we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on with Scorpio energy, and it's quite difficult to really wrap our heads around, I think, but through February, Scorpios, we can really come into something that we've never had before, a sort of confidence within ourselves and activation of our creative energy, something that sort of feels like a metamorphosis to me and a beginning of the process of transformation. As sometimes it's hard to rush. It's hard to feel so rushed into transformation as we may have been feeling lately. So for many of us Scorpios, something has happened in January and something is really motivating us forward. There is a new connection with motivation and a new connection with confidence coming in, which is sort of in this process of transformation. There's a fear in Scorpio that the output or the creative process, whether that be how you're creating within yourself to pull others in, whether that be in your job, your business, your family, there's a fear that it's not enough. There's a fear that something needs to burn brighter, and a want to not be meek or dull within Scorpio, like this want to be like dazzling and shining and becoming something that the rest of the world can't have. And that process is inevitable right now, but I sense like this really strong complex of pain coming forward about how we move into that process. I feel a strong insatiability, yes, but that's present very often in Scorpio. You have to learn in February, Scorpios, how to become satisfied with something, because you are catalyzing something in February with all this Wands energy, all this fire energy that will give you something for such a long time, perhaps even like the next decade. Jupiter is in our sign, Mars is in our sign, and they're both sort of getting very well progressed into that. Mars will be changing signs soon enough into Sag. So we have some kind of outward scorpionic energetic process that we have to accomplish, something that we have needed to do for a long time, something that we've needed to let go of for a long time, and something that we simply cannot really hold on to any longer. Closures need to start to happen here in February, Scorpios. It's a wonderful universal time to be supported with endings and closures. Relationships which are over need to be ended. Ways of life or lifestyles that are no longer serving you need to be culminated. We are about to get into equinox time in March 21st, once we get back into Aries time. We have Jupiter and Mars in Scorpio as I'm doing this reading. The surroundings are optimum to let go and disconnect from what is no longer serving us. And some of you have already done it. A lot of you did it in January through perhaps trying to reopen something. I sense like a Pandora's box type of energy, as if like trying to reopen something was going to give you the world, but it didn't really go in your favor. So a lot of you maybe reached out to the ex, or a lot of you tried to reconnect with the past, and in an attempt to find your power that you lost there and gain it back. All Scorpios have been successful with gaining that power back, but not all Scorpios can see that that's what it is. There is such a powerful resurgence of your soul catalyst energy coming in February, Scorpio, through this evolution that you're having with the fire element. So 5 cards in Wands. You have all the way from the Ace up to the 10. The entire Wands experience is emphasized in February. So creative expansions, solar plexus expansions. I feel like a really powerful, high vibrating solar plexus energy coming from the Scorpio archetype. So we have to treat that with respect and be careful with it. Try to not waste your energy in places that it doesn't need to be in February, because you're getting so much, Scorpio. You're getting so much, and it's kind of hard, I think, to even be able to comprehend it. Many Scorpios haven't really tapped into the Jupiter benevolence yet, but it can really start here in February. So for those of you who are business owners or generating revenue or doing something inanimate, that can be absolutely incredible and huge. You have Wheel of Fortune in your reading. For those of you who are trying to start new relationships, it can be very successful. You can find very powerful soul connections with people that give you more fire in your blood than you've ever had before. So again, Mars is very emphasized. We do have this Mars in Scorpio, Jupiter in Scorpio. So the sex drive can be very magnified during this time. Try to not be too reckless with that or too spontaneous with that, because again, we have to remember with Jupiter and Mars in Scorpio, it is a more easy time to become ill or to catch something from somebody in many ways. And with it being in Scorpio territory, it's a very prone to promiscuous type of diseases. So try to not be too promiscuous in February, although you can definitely be more in touch with those desires. So there's something hard though, Scorpios. There's something, and I hope you've overcome it by the time you're hearing this reading. As I said in my January reading, January and February are kind of a gift from the universe, and they're sort of separated from the rest of time. And it's true, but a lot of you kind of have caught on to this and what kind of ending culmination it represents for you. And through that, a lot of you tried to reopen the past or reopen a door which is locked and closed to you, and you kind of forced it open in a way. And a lot of you have gotten nothing back for that, and that's kind of put you face to face with your life and death drive, or your soul energy as a person. And depending on the Scorpio, depending on the person, there are going to be many different types who are hearing this right now. It can be really encouraging or really discouraging. It kind of has to be both, because sometimes Scorpio, when you feel so rejected or you feel so pushed back by other people, it serves a purpose, because you have to really motivate and catalyze with something. And sometimes what is difficult about Scorpio is when you're happy and you're in a loving situation, you can stagnate because your mind is very focused. Again, you're fixed water. So if you're really happy in love, sometimes if you've not had the evolution yet, or if you've not learned how to multitask with this, you can let time pass and sort of lose track of your goals. But if you have a lot of pain or a lot of difficult love energy of the past, it can motivate you to achieve wonderful things because you want to prove something to yourself. So the goal of February, Scorpio, is to learn how to be loving and be loved while also still aiming for the aspirations and goals that your soul has sort of laid out for you. You know, to say something kind of controversial, Scorpios, as simple as this may sound, February might be a really, really wonderful month to no longer let them hold you back. And let that sink in for a minute. When you hear that, don't let them hold you back any longer, as simple as that might sound, where does that take you, you know? Do you feel like you're not held back by anyone? Do you feel like you are independent on your journey? Are you feeling really influenced by the wants and desires of other people, like a sponge, like you're really absorbing that all in? February is the month, Scorpio, where you kind of have to take the sponge that's full of water and like wring it out and squeeze out that water so that you are fresh and sort of energetically pure and energetically ready to soak in what you need to move forward on your path. And what an incredible, vibrant stage to sort of instill this process, Scorpios. A lot of you are going to look amazing, looking incredible, looking fabulous, doing things that people from your past would never have expected you to do. So do enjoy that. And I mean, not to get too egoic with things, because I guess that is kind of an ego thing, but there's sort of an energy of Scorpio doing a lot more than people could have expected them to do. And through Scorpio being successful and people from their past not being so much, that can actually inspire them to want to be bad to you or want to not honor your sort of olive branch or your offer of peace because they think you have too much. And when someone has too much, sometimes lower evolved people can want to take it away through other means. So try to avoid Scorpio people who want to take away your success through what little power they still have over you. It's a wonderful month to realize how insignificant and small people of your past who could never accept your closure or never accept your words of kindness become, you know. Some of you are going to travel in February. Some of you are going to move in February. Some of you are going to have a change in career, a promotion, something that introduces a cycle that is just like starlight into your life. Scorpios are about to start burning bright and about to start embracing the benevolence that Jupiter is giving them. And why, Scorpio, do we feel so kind of anchored down? It's hard. It's kind of like, wow, well, I have all these things or I have all this success coming in, but the people who really mattered to me from my past are gone. There can be a sadness that develops there. There can be a fear spectrum to emerge when we feel that we've lost so much and as a result gained somewhere else. Try, Scorpio, to get past it. Try to enjoy what the universe has given you. I see a lot of Scorpios, and again, this is kind of a hypothetical situation, but just to kind of communicate the point, like making millions of dollars and still being sad that that person from 10 years ago didn't accept them in that way. And sort of even feeling like that's a bigger deal than like all of the millions of dollars you're making. And you just kind of have to apply that to your own situation. Like, where is your benevolence and your abundance, Scorpio? Try to focus more there, because again, Scorpio can be very polarized and extreme. So the more that you get, sometimes the more that you want to take from yourself. Wonderful, wonderful month to sort of explode out of that. Definitely a phoenix in the ashes type of month, or a burning type of month there with all this fire energy, as well as the hermit. But I think that it's better to burn bright than to burn to ash. Let's be honest there, as I feel that it's really important for Scorpios in February to leave the ashes behind, to no longer be concerned with the ashes and to rather burn brightly. Or try to establish a cycle that allows you to do it after equinox time. It's not the most wonderful month, having said all this, Scorpio, to begin like new, incredible adventures like right now, spontaneously. Some of you can. Some of you, okay, yeah, because I'm getting a little bit of mixed messages on that from the universe. It's like some Scorpios can have like a really bright new beginning here if it's sort of been planned out, if you've been working on this soul evolution for a long time. But it's also quite optimum for all Scorpios to plan it out and to really get into the planning process of that. Get to know the people around you, get to know the system, and really shoot for after the equinox time, after March 21st, to really jump into action with all of this. Although it seems to be that there are Scorpios on both sides, because sometimes Scorpio, especially with Jupiter in our sign, we can sort of live in the future. So some of us have already gotten the equinox energy, some of us have already had the turnover in some way, and we can kind of run with it, and ultimately Scorpios, try to find productivity as well, as another side note before I get into this week to week. It's a wonderful month to like enjoy productivity, to enjoy your creative process, as I've been saying. Like, for those of you who are like entrepreneurs, or for those of you who have creative businesses, or even just create as a hobby, really hone in on that and really think, what can I do to make this twice as profitable, or twice as enjoyable, or twice as bright? It really feels like you can double up on your numbers, your figures, your beauty, physical transformations as well. Getting back in touch with your sense of confidence, also getting back in touch with your sense of root and solar plexus energy. Finding endurance. 9 of Wands reversed is your central theme. So something, Scorpio, changes with your endurance this month. It's important to see like what you weren't strong enough to handle, and to really focus that and to really understand why. And even if you can't necessarily fix that right now, it's good to know why it happened one way or another. Try to not be an oblivious Scorpio in February. So I feel that can be a possibility with so many things burning brightly and so many sort of lanterns, it feels like universally opening up to you and lighting your path, again with the Hermit there and the Wheel of Fortune. So much money for some of you, so much love for others, abundance in some way, sort of the candy that Jupiter proverbially scatters into our lives. It's easy to let that distract us from the root or the foundation of the issue, but as Scorpio, we can never let that happen. We sort of get bad situations because we don't really ever have an excuse for letting that happen, because we're always so aware of the root of a situation. So really try to have both, allow the abundance, focus on it, but also understand why you got the abundance, perhaps because someone was so difficult to you. Really getting into where your motivation is coming from, really getting into where your creative power is coming from, getting into where you ignite and energize as a person, aside from other people, aside from what others give to you. Because there is something kind of vampiristic about Scorpio lately, where you can really drain off the energy of others, or really need others to energize you, as that's been the cycle for about the last 2 years. So that's what we need to understand. And it's going to be different for every Scorpio, like why that is or how that is. And it's going to depend on the specific circumstance. But if you can come into an understanding of where that came from, or at least ponder it, that will really catalyze such a huge transformation and shift within yourself. Because once you hold that in your hands, you hold this ability to always be able to change, and to always be able to catalyze events in your life, to rise, to fly higher. So anyway, Scorpios, on that note, I want to go ahead and get into the week to week to see what more specifically is coming forward for you. Week number 1 in February, Scorpios, you have the Hermit rooted down by 6 of Wands reversed. So confronting the solitude and isolation here, very empowering, and you sort of have to get to the bottom of your confidence as a person as well. I feel like Scorpios kind of wanted to hide lately. It feels like the energy of hide and seek to me, where Scorpio is hiding and wanting to be sought out, not hiding because they want to be alone. There's a fear of being alone for a long time in a way, and also a need to have solitude. So we need to sort of understand how we can integrate that and how we can become happier alone and sort of need the solitude, but also on the one hand not need to be saved by someone else, but also being able to healthily invite someone in, as I feel like there's a difficulty there. It's like you either want to be completely alone and disconnected from humanity, or you need like a really strong connection and injection. There's a struggle to find a middle ground there. And it's important to understand how you're different when you're alone and how you are in the company of other people. Not necessarily in your social interactions, but just comfortably as a person on the inside. What changes there? Where does your heart go during those two places? Because we need to find consistency. Like Scorpio needs to find a root and an anchor with Jupiter in its sign to feel like the same person and the same energy, like the same shaped persona, regardless of surroundings or regardless of energetic disposition. So find protection in the first week too, Scorpios. The Hermit is always a sign of protection and also a symbol of light in the dark. So really take this time to light up the darkness. Really take this time to get past the fears, to let go, to get past the fear of the past, to take what you need from the past, reap it, and let it go. Because I feel like the Hermit with Scorpio energy is such a reaping type of energy. You know, we are not getting stuck in the past. We're not drowning in that, but we have the power to go there and take back our power. And a lot of us did that in January, you know, and a lot of us weren't supported to do that. And a lot of us didn't get the one-on-one that we needed, perhaps, with these people. And this could be, you know, all over a lot of 2017 for a lot of Scorpios, because that's kind of what the last year cycle was, from like March of 2017 to March of 2018 on those equinox cycles. For Scorpio, that dealt a lot with reaping power from the past and understanding how the past shaped the present. But it won't really anymore, Scorpios, once we get into the next equinox cycle after March 21st of 2018. It's going to be important in February here to reap that last little bit, to get that last little bit of closure. And again, a lot of us did that by January, but it's sort of a symbol here and just sort of validating for me that for those of us who haven't, we definitely have to get onto that path. And even if we're not reaching out to people, like finding our own closure within ourselves is imperative. That's what's going to give us our confidence back. That's what's going to make us feel more attractive, not, false rituals or false experiences of beauty really aren't wonderful in February. So on one hand, it's good to start like healthy cycles, so prioritizing your health, and if that makes you like thinner, or prioritizing your skincare, and if that makes you glow more and make you feel more attractive, like that's good. But it's not the best time to think, okay, I need to have like all this cosmetic surgery, or I need to like really change my appearance to become more confident, because I do feel like that the confidence is hurting a little bit here. Some Scorpios are wonderful. Some Scorpios are like, have figured it out, because again, all this Wands energy, it's like some of you just feel like the most attractive person out there right now. But some of you, again, are like very much on the opposite side of that. This is just emphasized, and it's always so hard to read for Scorpios because we're going to have people on like both extreme sides. But I can definitely say there's something about the appearance and something about the way that we're coming off to others that is emphasized and undergoing changes this month. And it will be a good month to adapt a solidarity within ourselves that doesn't rely on the more fluid perceptions of other people. So always wondering how other people view us, or how other people see us as a presence, and sort of taking in their emotional disposition to interpret it in their way within ourselves. It's too energetically consumptive, Scorpios. Let's try to stay more within ourselves energetically. Leading into the second week, you have 8 of Wands reversed, rooted down by 10 of Wands. I love that energy. I think this is an incredible week. I think that a lot of Scorpios could be traveling here. A lot of Scorpios could be really doing incredible things with their ideas and their creativity. There is something that might not be feeling properly compensated, though. 8 of Wands reversed to me says that you're getting a lot of abundance. So for those of you who are like business owners, it feels like there is a lot to show for it, but it feels like it's not enough for what you're putting out. So I think that this will change. And I think that it's important to now innovate. your career or your work process to understand how you can get more abundance and benevolence from what it is that you are doing, because it feels like there are better ideas and more creative ideas that can really up the revenue or really up the gain that you receive from your businesses or your creative endeavors. And it also feels like windfall to me, or feeling like you should be having the windfall by now, but it's not quite come yet. It could be as well. Definitely you're going to be upping the productivity, though. I think that this is a very busy time for many Scorpios who are business owners or many Scorpios who are in the career field. It just feels like with 10 of Wands and 8 of Wands together, it's like really putting in the work for the money and really getting a lot of compensation, but also wondering, is this work too much for what I'm being paid, or am I getting paid too little, even for those of you who are making a lot? It's kind of a redefinition time of what you're doing and how you're doing it, for sure. And you can really get truly wonderful ideas about the process, about how you are creating in your life. And I just really think that it's interesting that 9 of Wands is there too. So you've got the 8 and the 9 of Wands reversed, and then 10. So you've got the 8, 9, 10, the chronological order. And the 8 and the 9 are reversed, but the 10 is upright. So it says to me that we need to break the cycle, that we need to have the beginning. Again, we have that wonderful upright Ace of Wands at the end of the reading. So some of us are lingering too much in endings. Again, closures and endings. And it's February. It's that time of year, letting go, having the closure. But some of us are kind of prolonging the ending phase, it feels like. Because with endings or culminations in general, it doesn't just happen. There's a phase. There's a period of time that passes in the ending. It doesn't just click closed. So I feel like a lot of Scorpios are lingering there too much, and I feel like it's time to close the chapter and to do the productivity, to do the work, and really allow ourselves a new beginning. Third week Scorpios, Wheel of Fortune rooted down by Page of Swords. So wonderful major arcana again. It's interesting also how Wheel of is covered up and it's just Fortune rooted down by Page of Swords. So again, money, possibilities, opportunities, meeting the right people at the right time. To me, this is the energy of good lighting and being liked by many people, being very popular. If there ever was a time to take a risk, Scorpio, I would say that the third week of February might be a supported time for that. It does feel like the energy of gambling, but also the energy of a calculated risk, because again, Page of Swords is calculation, contracting, litigation, really well written out processes. So make sure that your risks are calculated, but I think all Scorpios should try to take some kind of risk in February, third week, even if it's very small, like try a new diet or try a new some kind of new ritual that does you well. And then anywhere from like gambling $1 million, some of you could do good, but don't do that. Don't gamble $1 million. It's not my fault if you lose something, Scorpios, but a lot of you are just very fortunate in the third week. A lot of you are very up on the wheel. But do always remember with the Wheel of Fortune that it's a cycle, and for every bit of the fortune you can make or generate for yourself in February, Scorpios, the equal and opposite reaction can very easily come forth if we're too spendthrift with our energy. So remember that it's a cycle, it's a wheel, but one way or another, you're very fortunate this month. Fourth week, Scorpios, King of Pentacles reversed, rooted down by Ace of Wands. And it all sort of comes back to that, doesn't it? That King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn energy. Who kind of has fallen out of favor with us, who perhaps we did try to reach back out to, or we tried to reopen things with, to be a good person or to do the right thing, most of us, and then some of us can kind of be a little bit lower down. But we haven't gotten what we needed. We haven't been accepted. Again, I do feel the energy of like rejection and just not being accepted by people who were once important to us. So we're really taking a lot of time to understand how that happened and why people would say that they love us so much to then only reject us in the future. We're sort of pondering the way that life changes and feeling a bit disposable. There is an energy of disposable nature coming in and wondering why we became that way. But what we have to do, Scorpios, is we have to find creativity from that. How you're being rejected or how you're being put in a difficult situation by these people of your past, what they're doing gives you so much. And it's like the more that they do this or the more that they try to push you out for sort of an egoic gain, the more that you fortune, if I can just use that as a verb, the more that you become fortunate and the higher you rise. It's like through this process of catalysion, as I like to say, that is my new coined word, catalysion. Through this process of catalysion, Scorpios, you really gain the world. And you, like, some Scorpios are going to be like traveling all over the world, making more money than they've ever made, having all these wonderful experiences, like I sense, like releasing albums or just doing very creative endeavors, while these people from your past just sort of stay back in that dreary town and go about their minimum wage jobs and kind of survive, you know? And it's like, here's the thing, Scorpio, if you hadn't been disconnected from them, that's probably what you'd be doing too. So sometimes the universe has to rip us away from something that once felt very solid and stable to give us the beautiful reality that our souls signed up for. And again, Scorpios, having Nine of Wands reversed, it's like building the endurance to allow yourself to have that, to allow yourself to have this incredible, empowering, bright, shining month. Sometimes it takes endurance and strength to leave behind what is preventing us from giving that to ourselves. And ultimately finding that, I feel, is our mission for February. I hope this reading has been wonderful for you all. If you would like to check out my Patreon page and get these readings early and ad-free, that'll be on the left of your screen. You can book a private reading with me in the center, and you can also check out the playlist to view your sun, moon, rising sign on the right. As always, your likes, comments, and subscribes make my day. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful experience. I will be talking to you in March. Much love. Bye.